live. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
We are live on Cowbell Kingdom, episode 338. Dustin Breakbill alongside the one and the only managing editor of Cowbell Kingdom, Leo Bias. How's everybody doing on, YouTube land this Saturday afternoon? And Leo, welcome to June.
I'm excited. We got the NBA Finals. We have the NBA Draft. And football season's almost here, right? We're like less than 100 days away.
We are less than 100 days away. And college football is crazy.
College football, Nevada. Shout out to my boys, the Martin twins, Caleb and Cody, coming back to school, which makes us a top 5 team in the nation. I cannot believe that I'm saying this. My alma mater is a top 5 team in the nation, man. I'm very proud of where the program is and where the program is going, where Eric Musselman is taking us to the promised land. Hopefully, with the twins coming back and Jordan Brown, who is a local All-American, committing to Nevada, we have a super team in college. Maybe we're the next Villanova, and we win the whole thing. What do you think about that?
Next Villanova, wow. Eric Musselman the next Jay Wright?
I hope so. If he is, man, that's good for NorCal, right?
Yeah, it is good for NorCal.
I mean, we're going to have all the athletes locally like Jordan Brown, who committed to us. And if that happens, maybe all these kids start going to Nevada, Reno. How cool would that be?
It would be pretty cool to see people at Nevada, Reno. They had a great year, and Eric Musselman is the man to lead them into the future very, very soon. The former Sacramento Kings coach and, a former head coach in the G League, which we'll get to in the show because that's exciting news for people around Northern California, Sacramento, and Stockton.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to call in, the number is 209-565-3079. Again, it's 209-565-3079. And don't forget that this episode of the CK Podcast is presented by Valley Tire Center. So make sure to go out there, tell them, you know what, we heard about Valley Tire Center. You guys got great deals going on. And they will hook you guys up. They're giving out NBA tickets all season long in Section 106. So that's really good news. And they give out the best tires in all of Northern California. Thank you guys so much for the support. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to all the news. We got so much stuff.
Let's start with let's start with the recent news, and we'll backtrack from there. So last night of May, basically, the NBA Finals tipped off finally, and LeBron James, he does it once again. 51 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. The guy is basically a man on the mission, and if it wasn't for that one mistake, maybe by J.R. Smith, the Cavs could have walked away with it. We'll get to that in a second. But LeBron James, what do you make of what he's done in Game 1 and what he's done basically the whole playoffs?
Before I answer that, we need to do the J.R. Smith challenge because that was ridiculous. But but other than that, is there someone calling in? No, they're not. You and I both talked about this on Twitter. We said the worst thing that could happen was Cleveland beating the Boston Celtics. And
hey, I was a big Boston guy coming into the season. You know it. Right. I said this last summer.
And you did. But that was with Kyrie.
Yeah, that was with Kyrie.
And I had them winning prior to the series in 7. So I thought they were the better team. They had more bodies to throw out at the Warriors. But in Game 1, Cleveland showed up. And the role players showed up. LeBron, I think, was his best performance ever. I've never seen him on that type of mission. I've never seen him that aggressive.
Me either.
He's always passive. Yeah. He gets everybody involved. But he was on the mission. I said this on Twitter. He was playing with house money. There's no pressure on him to beat this team. They're not supposed to beat this team. So I feel like having no pressure makes him play as good as he can. He has nothing to lose and everything in the game. So why not go out and play?
I think LeBron likes the wall against his back. I think he likes the pressure, as you mentioned. I think he likes the doubters. I think he kind of thrives on it because what's his whole career been about? Oh, you're not Michael Jordan. You're not going to be the greatest of all time. And he's always had to fight that stigma, which I believe it's not fair to compare him to Michael Jordan.
It's not.
They're two different types of player. I compare LeBron James to Magic Johnson. Not even Kobe. I compare it to Magic Johnson because they can play all 5 positions, and they're kind of...
LeBron to Magic?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought you said Michael to Kobe.
No, Michael and Kobe are the similar, right. But Magic and LeBron are the same. Right. If you look at, they're 100%. Basically... They could play... Magic played a center. LeBron could play center if he wanted. They could play all 5 positions if they wanted. Right. I think that comparison to Michael Jordan is not fair to both. And you shouldn't compare, I think, them because they are the greatest, but they're different kind of players.
So is it fair to say LeBron is his
generation's magic? Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
I don't know if that you agree with that. They're both
I
great
agree.
businessmen.
I'm just saying when people think of basketball, they think of Michael Jordan.
Yes, they do.
Being the GOAT.
Yeah.
Is LeBron the GOAT per se? In your opinion, since they're different players, since it's not fair to you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying.
Because there's always a one and two, right?
I hate having this debate about who is greatest of all time because it's so single-minded because everybody has their own opinion, and I think everybody is fair to have their own opinion. But when you start comparing players, I don't like having this debate when you talk in sports or just talk sports radio, sports podcasting, or anything in general, basically about anything in life, because you can have a point or a counterpoint for everything, and it's going to go crazy if you're going to keep comparing people to each other. Because LeBron James and Michael Jordan, why can't they both be the greatest of all time?
Right. And
right?
That's my question too. Why can't they both
why
be the greatest? Why do
we have to have a number one? I know people love society. That goes back to generations and generations before man was started. But it's interesting to talk about because I just beat my head against the wall and say, why are we still having this debate? It's not going to what is it? A slow day in news or sports?
It's always a slow day in news. It's always a slow day in news, which is why people just said, what's up with all this Luka dropping stock hoopla? It's made up. Of course it's made up, y'all. It's funny because
it's a burner account.
Yes, yes. And during those 3 days that we had no basketball, remember that?
Yeah.
It was between game 6 and 7.
People were going crazy.
So between those 3 days, the media, the national media, they had to come up with something.
Yeah.
And what was the biggest thing trending? Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Hey, let's make up that Luka's not coming to the NBA, that he doesn't want to play for the Sacramento Kings. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Luka Doncic loves Bogdanovich. They're very good friends.
Yeah.
He came out publicly and said he would love to play with Bogdan, and he pretty much turned down all these fake reports from my dude Giovanni, from Draft Express, now ESPN. It really disappoints me that he's out here with these notions of trying to disrupt something good happening in Sacramento. I don't know what his intentions are. I hope they're not negative. I hope he was just, I don't know. I want to think the best, but realistically speaking, he messed up and he was reporting false news saying that Vlade wasn't there, trying to insinuate that he's not interested. He went to his son's graduation.
Yeah, you're a father. You should go to your son's graduation.
God, I mean,
come on.
Does that mean that he doesn't love Luka? Of
yeah.
course not. He had 4 other scouts there doing his job.
So you don't want him to be a father, and you don't want him to go see his son graduate, which is one of the most precious things for a father or family member to go do. But it was
reported the other way, saying the Kings are not interested, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And I was talking to people, and they were like, man, this is false. And you know what? It is what it is. We haven't heard anything since, which is hilarious. And I just wish them but the best. And you guys already know I'm all in for Luka Doncic. And yeah, I think he's the best player in the draft. And we'll go over my top 25. My top 25 big board. Not where I think they'll get drafted, because that's completely different. That's a whole different conversation. Because just because I think someone's better doesn't mean a team may draft them there, right?
Yeah.
This is my big 25, and we'll go over it. A lot of exciting news. And I want you guys to call in, though, and join the conversation. But what was your reaction when you first heard or saw that the Kings are getting number 2?
Okay, I didn't see the draft lottery, so I was here at the station. But I was like on Twitter, as always, and I'm like, okay, number 2. Or number 2, everybody's reaction. What's going on? Sacramento Kings get the number 2 pick. I'm like, is this really happening? Right. Like, is this like
spoken into existence?
Is there finally good?
We LeVar Balled it, man.
Don't start on that, because don't get me. That's a tangent out. Oh man. But I'm like, the Kings finally got good luck. What is this? Like, we finally have luck, and it's interesting to think that, wow, number 2 goes to the Kings, and it's pretty interesting to see, wow, please don't mess this up. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But, man, number 2 was like, it's just a shocker, because how long have people been saying the Kings have no luck in the draft lottery? And look at what happened. They finally turned around, and They get a top 3 pick.
And the basketball gods rewarded the Kings for not tanking like the Grizzlies did. Literally, they sat down Tyreek Evans and Marc Gasol all year long.
Mike Conley, too. After my interviewed Eric Hasseltine, the voice of the Grizzlies. But, yeah.
And you know what? It was the Mavericks as well. And they got stubbed.
Yeah.
And that's what they get. And but the Kings ranked up higher. And that's what happens. If you play the right way and you play hard, you will get rewarded by the basketball gods. I truly believe in that. And it was good karma. Now, the other half of that equation is they need to get this pick right.
Yeah, they do.
By any means necessary, they need to get this pick right. And I believe in my heart, I've never been so convinced on a prospect like Luka Doncic. And I'll go over him and my frustrations on why so many fans recreational, regular fans that don't really understand basketball, they'll be like, oh, he's white, he's European, he comes with that negative stigma of a Darko Milicic. Because of him, this kid gets scrutinized, which is an unfair comparison.
Why does everybody have to bring up Darko? Why can't everybody bring up what Dirk Nowitzki's done?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why do they have to always go negative?
Darko.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. As of right now, if you were Vlade Divac, do you draft Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson, Marvin Bagley, Michael Porter?
I take the best available player. So
if DeAndre Ayton goes 1, who do you take at 2?
I take Luka. And Bagley, I was never really impressed with.
I'm so low on him.
It's not even funny. I think.
Not go over that, but
Duke, I believe, right? Yeah.
Duke, big man.
Yeah, Duke. I'm sorry. Who named the last great Duke player in the NBA? Kyrie Irving doesn't count. Austin Rivers doesn't count. I'm sorry, people. This 1-year draft. I'm so glad they're going to change this soon because it's ridiculous how it hurts the game.
Are they changing it?
I believe so. They want to change it. I think Adam Silver
to a sophomore.
I believe either back to high school or you have to go to either sophomore. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I can't wait till this happens because the game of college basketball, it deserves, I think, a little more respect than it has been the last couple of years. And I blame this on who would be the first kind of one and done. Carmelo Anthony. There's been other ones, but he's probably the last the one that started this train.
Is it their fault or is it college
basketball? It's the college basketball fault, and I think it's the NBA's fault also. It goes hand in hand. Because you've hurt both of the games, but
with that said, how important is the G League now?
The G League's going to be way important
for player development. Right?
Player development, I think, is key, and the NBA is finally taking that. What baseball's always done, and what some other sports have always done. If your time is right, pro scouts and pro people will tell you your time's right and tell your front office when it's ready to go. But if you need some extra time, why don't get extra time? Why don't go to a G League? And it's building, 27 teams now? We'll talk about that. But I believe it's time for... Why do you have to bring a guy up right away? Why do you have to make him... a star's a star, but why can't you have some of these guys go down for a little bit and then come up and then be ready to go? If some of these... Hey, if my shot's not going,
right?
Why don't you come down here and work a little bit?
As opposed to having them as a business...
Yeah.
Cachet for big college programs.
Yeah.
It's not benefiting the NBA programs. It's benefiting the pockets of the big people inside NCAA, right?
I think the baseball...
That's where corruption starts.
Yeah, I think baseball's the perfect method to follow because if you're a baseball player, you either come out of high school or you go to a college and you spend 2 years there, 3 years there. You go into the minor league system, and if you're good, they'll call you up right away. If you're not, it'll take a couple years. But hey, why don't you get ready, and then you'll be ready when you're ready to go and have a great career.
Okay, so talk to me about the Stockton Kings.
Okay.
What does that mean for Stockton, and what should we expect just as an overall significance to the city?
As a person, I think that knows Stockton sports pretty well, I think this is actually great for the city as a whole. I believe the Stockton Kings... I've always thought Stockton was a basketball town.
Right. Me too.
And it's always been popular basketball, no matter if it's high school, with what goes on at some of these big programs with high schools. College, Pacific's always been everybody's known kind of the name of Pacific for a long time. Delta, even junior college, has great basketball programs. I think this means a lot for the G League. I think this means a lot for some of these cities. But I think basketball in Stockton, because people around here like to have the hot product. So when they started the Stockton Thunder in mid-2004, when the arena was built for hockey, that was packed every night, basically, when they had teams here, great teams here in Stockton. And then hockey's taken a downfall, like a lot of sports, but it's sports in general because of the economy, and sometimes people don't want to go see.
But it is a hockey city. I think it's a basketball
city. It's a basketball city, and hockey's great to have as a second option or a third option, but there's a hockey fan base here now, which is great for Northern California, and they're building their hockey programs. But even one of the local high schools starting a hockey program here in Stockton, which is pretty cool. But basketball, I don't know how many fans are going to go, but I expect it to be
packed every night.
Packed every night because only 26 home games every night, 26, 27. Right. Maybe we'll get an exhibition game in Stockton at one point. We never know. And maybe with the Kings, but I think this is special, and it's going to be packed every night, hopefully. In
Golden Night type thing, where Vegas is just
Golden Nights. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see what actually happens and what they do with the community here with the Stockton Kings. And I know they're building it, and that their offices haven't really been built yet in Stockton, but they're commuting down from Sacramento. But they're here.
How do you feel about that? I mean, I don't get it. I think they should have their own offices here. I think they should practice here because it's not a short commute. I do it every day.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes to an hour to Natoma
with traffic.
With a sleep train because they're not going downtown. They're going to sleep train at the old practice facility. I don't understand why they're not practicing in Stockton. Why they're not living in Stockton.
At least game days. Hopefully they'll practice here in Stockton or the day before to get ready with the building and get the surface ready, but then get comfortable. But that's up to the Kings and to see maybe what happens after a year, what they do with the Stockton Kings, and they might build offices. But at least you need some people down here and having a community basically rapport with the community.
And they were at Fillmore Elementary School,
which is awesome.
Which was awesome. It's close to here. They went to Stag, right? They had a couple players come over from the actual Sacramento team.
They're doing season ticket stuff too.
Yeah, they're doing
events.
Season ticket stuff, holding an event.
I believe tomorrow's actually open house. So
tomorrow,
there
it is, everybody. If you guys are interested, I know people on the text line are saying I'm going to Stockton Kings games, which is good. But yeah, I think Stockton deserved this, and it hurts me because obviously I'm a UNR guy.
Yeah.
But I have to be realistic. And we talked about this plenty of times. They weren't selling out. It's not a basketball. See, that city, have to match.
They're playing at the convention center too.
Right. And it wasn't very big, and they still couldn't fill it up. Just that Reno is a Reno Aces town.
Yeah.
They're a baseball town. So, and then they're a Wolfpack town.
Yeah.
And if they weren't playing at Lawler, I don't understand why people would want to go to the convention center. But that's neither here nor there. We're past that, and now we're in Stockton.
And I don't even know if the city of Reno was supporting it, really, promoting it. So, yeah.
And I believe that the Stockton Kings, they meet the demographics we have in Stockton, California.
Yeah.
Which is why I believe it'll be good for the economy, it'll be a successful.
It's the most diverse place, I believe, in the United States. And
Stockton is?
It's one of the most diverse places because it's just a big melting pot, and it's going to be interesting to see because there's basketball fans all over this community, and if it's not the Kings, it's Golden State. If it's not Golden State, it's the Lakers.
Someone said build a practice facility in Galt.
That's
a long commute too.
Yeah, that's a long commute. That's a 15, 20 minutes. Yeah,
right.
Not
half an hour.
Yeah, half an hour, 25 minutes maybe, probably about that. But they'll find something to do here. I think the hockey team uses the ice every day, so they could find a way to do something somewhere. But as I was saying, the Stockton Kings. But what's this mean for you in Cowbell Kingdom as the managing editor with a G League team now in Stockton?
As everybody knows, you're going to be our beat reporter covering all the games and being here. So I'm excited for you to do a great job and represent Cowbell Kingdom on a very high level. I believe that we're going to be the go-to place for Stockton Kings coverage. It's already on the website.
G League coverage too.
Right. G League coverage. And, I already made that extra tab on the website that just says Stockton Kings. So if you just want to go for Stockton Kings news, ck.com is the place to go. So I'm super excited for that. We'll be promoting and boosting a lot of stuff so people can be aware that we are the go-to place. There isn't really much competition in terms of the Stockton record, and it'll be us. So in Sacramento, obviously, you have many more outlets. News 10, NBC, etc.
And they'll be down here probably sometimes.
Probably
maybe opening night, but it's going to mostly be us and the record.
Right, it's going to be us and the record. So if you guys want Stockton Kings coverage, if you want to keep up with maybe some of the rookies, maybe Justin Jackson might be down here, most likely, unless he really gains a lot of weight. And
coaching situation staying the same, I believe.
Yeah, so Coach Martin will continue to run the exact offense, and I think that's important because if you have your farm system running the same thing and your rookies are here playing, they'll get acclimated to your system faster, and when they're ready to get called up, then they're prepared to play the game, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to staying on the bench, not really getting game action. I think it's important to come down
and
here.
As we talked about this earlier, we mentioned Eric Musselman's name, and he was an NBA head coach at a young age.
Right.
Didn't work out.
Right.
Then took a couple years off coaching, went to the G League, and it helped reunite. This helps coaches also. People forget about this. This helps people become coaches. And this league is going to be special, I believe. It's growing every year, and I think this is Adam Silver's baby. I think this is it kind of gives, as we said, a farm system.
It's only 17 cities that has a
Isn't it 27 now, I believe?
Oh, 27,
but the Clippers have a new one down there in L.A.
They do.
They do. So it's going to be interesting to see. Golden State and Santa Cruz, the South Bay Lakers with the Lakers. And more teams are surrounding themselves with locals, so it's easier to call up these guys. And we saw that with the Lakers this year with a special guy who hasn't been in the NBA in how many years, and he got his chance to play one.
Tanvir said, where is Stockton? Where are the Kings located? They will play at the Stockton Arena.
Yeah, the Stockton Arena, which is home to the Stockton Heat in the American Hockey League, who's the affiliate for the Calgary Flames. And they've done a lot of stuff there. And it's a great building, actually. And
it's a beautiful facility.
With 26 dates, it's going to help the Stockton Arena because besides hockey, that arena does not get a lot of stuff every year.
Right.
And it's a beautiful arena next to the Banner Island Ballpark, which I believe is the best minor league ballpark in America. Right on the Delta River, or Delta basically. It's fun, and it's going to be it's a great atmosphere right there in that little nucleus of downtown.
How are the Ports playing, do you know?
The Ports are actually number 1 in the Cal League right now, so for the first half of the season. So I have to double check my stats, but they're off to a great start of the season.
There it is, guys. If you guys want to watch some baseball, I guess Stockton has the best team in their conference right now, which is really exciting news.
Yeah.
But going back to the NBA draft, people keep telling me that Luka Doncic is a point guard, and I say yes, he is. But his entire life, he's always played small forward. And let me spit some knowledge on you guys. Luka Doncic was forced to play the point guard position because Sergio Llull, Rudy Fernandez from Real Madrid, and other guys, they had so many injuries that they put him at point guard because he has point guard capabilities. He has the ability to run the team. And
tell me what European player isn't good at handling the ball. So that's why a lot of them play point guard.
But why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing.
That's a great thing. If my small forward can run an offense,
LeBron James,
I'd be stoked.
He runs an offense.
The Kings need playmakers. They don't have.
What's the one
guy, and his name is Bogdan.
What's the one position we always talk about with the Kings? They need to get right, and they haven't got right since Peja Stojakovic. It's small forward.
Small forward.
Yeah.
And Luka Doncic is that guy at 6'8", most likely 6'9" with shoes, honestly. And I don't know what his wingspan is. I can't wait to see his measurements. I don't think it matters because the kid is a straight baller. He has great feel for the game, high basketball IQ. His first step is very good. People always want to associate that he's a white European, that he's slow and unathletic. I hate that, and I don't like it because they never judge him for the prospect. All they see is a white guy that's a European, and that's not fair because there are black guys that are unathletic. Let's not get things twisted. Who was the guy who jumped the highest in the combine this year? He was a white guy by the name of DaVincio from Villanova. The dude that scored 30-plus points. He had the highest vertical, and he's white. So don't come and tell me that it matters that you're white or black or purple. I don't care what color you are. What I care about is, can you ball? And ladies and gentlemen, Luka Doncic can ball. Plain and simple.
What's the one rap on European players? They can shoot. And it gets irritating, I think, a lot of times because
they can shoot because they focus on fundamentals over there.
Yeah,
it's not because they're European.
No, but
it's because their development.
I know, but yeah, that's what the one everybody says. Oh, they're not athletic; they just shoot,
and they say they're soft. And I'm like, have you seen the Europeans in the NBA? Jokic, Gasol, those guys are not soft.
Go watch Dirk Nowitzki's documentary about how he started in basketball and what his trainer made him do.
Netflix.
Yeah, what his trainer made him do every day. It's ridiculous. So
it's mind-boggling, man. Like Tony Parker, Rudy Gobert. Okay, let me say this, and this may be controversial. I'm not sure, and I don't really care because I gotta spit facts out. I have never heard anyone say anything bad about Giannis Antetokounmpo, Tony Parker, Rudy Gobert. Why? Because their skin is black. At the end of the day, the last time I checked this, they are Europeans. They're French and they're Greek. But because they're black, they automatically associate, and it's sad because that's how society is. They associate that they're not slow and unathletic, but because Luka is white and European, they think of Darko. They think of these other few players that didn't pan out. And I tell people, if Luka doesn't pan out, it's not because he's European or white. It's because he wasn't simply ready for the next level.
And that's why we have the G League now.
Right.
That's what the people should.
And if he succeeds, it's not because he's European. It's because he's a straight up baller. I'm just tired, man, and it frustrates me because they want to make this about ethnicity and color, but in reality is, if you have these two papers, and I keep saying it, you don't know what their identities are. Okay, all you see is a resume full of skill sets and accomplishments. As soon as I reveal this paper, I got Michael Porter and I got Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic's paper is more complete. He's a better prospect, but because he's not athletic in terms of, I don't know what people want to watch him do. It's like they want him to be doing 360s. The last time I checked, 360s are worth 2 points. You know what I mean? Like, they put so much emphasis on athleticism as opposed to basketball knowledge, basketball feel, and I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
If you guys saw this paper, I got both papers. You're going to go with the person with the better resume, right?
Yeah.
100%.
You go with whose?
And then as soon as I identify who they are, then the negative stigma of being white European kicks in. And it frustrates me.
Show me what Michael Porter did at Missouri.
Nothing.
Yes. Show me what Bagley was okay at Duke, but show me
he was really good at Duke.
He was really good at Duke. I don't know why I said that, but you know what I mean. Like, show me what some of these resumes go against Luka, because the guy's
most accomplished 19-year-old in history.
The guy's already a pro.
Right. He leads men into championships,
and that's not a soft league.
No.
Yeah.
They got NBA players all over the league.
Yeah.
Guys who were the best players in college. Not anyone can play in Europe. People want to make this about...
Some guys leave the NBA to go play in Europe because they're
treated like kings over there.
Yeah. Because they're treated like... They're not treated with respect.
And they're not paying taxes.
Yeah, and they're not treated with respect in the NBA because some of these teams give up on these guys. Who was the perfect example? Josh Childress. Everybody likes to talk about him. The former Stanford player, and then he played with the Hawks for a while. But he went over into Europe and had a great career because he didn't really get respect. Do we got any comments on the feed? Oh,
a lot of comments.
Okay.
I mean, people are saying, "Preach, Leo." Luka Doncic is another Frank. Frank what? Facts.
Frank Ntilikina. The guy hasn't done anything yet because he hasn't really had the opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, people want to categorize these guys as
want success right now. People want success right now. You can't do that in sports.
You have to
or in life.
You have to gauge these guys, give them 3 to 4 years, and see what they can do. Just because Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell were great this year does not mean Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox cannot be better than them.
The softball slump or sophomore slump?
Right.
Softball.
It does not mean Fox, Lonzo, Josh Jackson will not be better players than these guys just because they showed what they can do 1 year. I don't care about 1 year. I care about consistency. I care about long tenures, Dirk Nowitzki type players, LeBron James, that they do it every single year. That's what matters to me, Dustin.
That's what gets me frustrated because in sports or in general, because people have one bad year. They want to give up on somebody. One bad year.
It's society, though. For
it us. It's what the NFL with a starting quarterback. Hey, you drafted. Why is he not having a great year? Because he's young and he's adjusting to the league. NBA. Okay. Why can't everybody be LeBron James or Kevin Durant? Because they're not.
Because they don't put the work in.
Yeah, they don't have the work ethic. Why can't everybody be a Mike Trout? Because he has raw, unpotential talent. Maybe because he is really good at baseball. Yeah, some players are different, and it just frustrates me that everybody wants to put them into categories that they're against the same player when they're not. They're individuals, and they all can't have the same success as somebody else.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, that separates the role players, the good players, the medium players, and the great players. Some guys, some people can put more work.
Some people can adjust to it. Right. Some people can't. They need time, and that's what, as we said, the G League's helping, and maybe the
Victor Oladipo. It took him 5 years to be the player he is.
And how many teams? 3. Yeah.
Like, this isn't
okay. We saw talent at Indiana, but he didn't work out in Orlando. They changed coaches midway.
They had players.
OKC, what happened? They traded him away, but he was getting better and he was learning under Russell Westbrook. And then what's happened in Indiana? He's the face of the franchise now. Paul George is not there anymore, and it's Victor Oladipo, and he loves that.
Now, when everybody laughed at the Pacers for getting slumped, right? All you got was Victor Oladipo and Sabonis. And now it's like they won the trade.
They're a top 4 team, top 5 team in the East.
Nobody expected that. No. Nobody.
They're the only team that gave Cleveland fits. Boston did.
They should have beaten them.
They should have beat Cleveland, but it's always Indiana for LeBron, and it's interesting when you think about it. But
LeBron owns the East, but I get it. Like, Indiana gave him a great battle.
Get some great series every time they play LeBron, but it's frustrating when
people are and Brandon Rodgers. Luka is not Frank Ntilikina. He is not Frank Ntilikina. They have different skill sets. They're completely different players. I'm not saying one is better than the other because Frank has a lot of upside. Maybe he is more of a shooting guard. We saw those tendencies. He's a great defender. He's very long. We all fell in love with his wingspan when we covered this entire thing last year at this time of the year. I kept saying, I love his wingspan. I love his ability. And the Knicks did not utilize him correctly. They had a bunch of point guards. It's always situation with guys, man. I keep telling people it's
also the New York Knicks
that you're in. It's the organization that you're in. The Knicks are dysfunctional, man.
They're always
the Magic have been dysfunctional. That's why they've gotten rid of guys like Victor Oladipo, and that's why Mario Hezonja hasn't worked out because he hasn't gone the right development and the best coaching because that organization has been in turmoil. It doesn't work out. You cannot function.
It's been in turmoil since Dwight Howard left.
You cannot function in a bad environment. It doesn't work like that.
No.
And I guarantee you, as soon as Hezonja leaves this summer, maybe to the Spurs, maybe to the Kings, maybe to whoever, he's going to be a much better basketball player. In the month of February and March, he flat out balled. Why? He showed those flashes because he was getting consistent minutes. He was getting consistency from everybody. And when that happens, players tend to respond better. Victor Oladipo, he gave him the keys to the organization in Indiana. He responded better. It just happens that way. You have to have a game plan, a plan, a system in place. And the Magic obviously have not. The Kings have not for years, but I believe they're heading in that direction with consistency, with a GM that's been there more than a year now.
It takes time to
build. With a head
yeah.
coach that's been there longer than 1 year now. Consistency matters, and we have to get over the fact that you're not going to win every year. And the Kings are in a rebuild mode, and they really have to get this draft right, Dustin. They really have to get this draft right.
As we kind of made, we kind of laughed at the 76ers for a couple of years because what are they doing? They're not doing anything. They're just losing. Well, what did Sam Hinkie had in mind? He had a vision.
He had a long-term plan.
Yeah. And what's paying off now?
And it's paying off. They got two superstars.
You know what's funny? They didn't fire Brett Brown. Their head coach.
I don't think they should have.
They haven't, but I mean, like, it's shown off. Have you?
I think it was
Some people wanted him to get fired.
It was like the skateboard thing to do. Like fire Hinkie.
Yeah, some people wanted him to fire Hinkie. They wanted him to fire the head coach.
Right.
And Brian Colangelo's another story we talked about later. But the guys, I don't know what's going to happen there. But
people are asking, do you think Justin Jackson is a bust? I didn't see a lot
1 year. Come on.
Right. Yeah, it's 1 year, guys. But with that said, I kept saying, when you draft at that position at 15 to 20. I'm expecting a role player.
Yeah, you're not expecting a superstar.
Even at UNC, if you guys watch all my draft breakdowns, which is a year ago, I'm on record saying this. I wasn't too happy with Justin Jackson because I believe that the Kings, I kept saying it in this exact chair last year, they got to draft Donovan Mitchell at 10. Right? I
remember that was your guy. All year I was like, Leo, Donovan Mitchell.
Right. And obviously nobody thought, I didn't think he was going to be this good, but I did think he was going to be a good player. And when they passed up on Mitchell and they passed up on Malik Monk at number 10, and they decided to trade away 10 for 15 and 20 to the Blazers, which we had your boy on plenty of times, I was like, well, they just screwed this up. But who knows? Because I have to be fair. They did draft Harry Giles, who reports are coming out that he might be a steal. And if that indeed happens, it'll make this frustration a lot better to.
What were the Kings known for in the 2000s? Depth, role players.
A lot of those.
So it's not bad. It's not bad to have a Justin Jackson or a Harry Giles for future success.
And even then, when you have a resume like a Justin Jackson that came out of UNC, even though I'm not as high on him, he's still an asset.
Clutch for UNC.
and he's still an asset. Yeah. Some team will say, you know what? Let me take a risk on him. And if some team will say maybe a Greg Popovich, and I said this in one of my videos, I said he may be a guy who can get the best version, who can get the UNC version out of Justin Jackson. Maybe, again, it's all situation, Dustin.
It is.
Sometimes it doesn't work out with one team. It doesn't mean you're a bad player. It just means the situation wasn't right.
It takes a while to get it right. And sometimes it might be a second or third team. So, yeah.
Someone says Kings can't develop. Have the Kings had any of the top prospects in the workouts here? They have not. Are they going to have trouble getting the top prospects in for workouts in previous years? They will not have trouble getting any prospect because they have the number 2 pick, and everybody wants to get drafted as high as possible because they make a bigger paycheck.
How are you reading into this, though? As we said, the upcoming draft, we haven't had any of the big players in yet, but how do you think Vlade is taking in, and how do you think he's measuring some of these guys? And as everybody says, Vlade is kind of like the unknown because we don't know what's really going on with him. It's got basically radio science all the time.
Right.
But the guy can spot talent. And do you think he knows who he already wants at number 2? Or
I do. I think he's not showing his cards.
Yeah.
I think he'll leak out some news and say that he's not interested in Luka Doncic because obviously it's an easy connection to associate him with another European.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is the complete opposite. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to say I'm not that interested. And if someone is, he may want to pull a Danny Ainge and get his guy maybe at 3, maybe snub Atlanta and get an extra pick out of them since the Kings don't have a 2019 pick. So that's a very big possibility. And if not, as everybody knows here, I'm super high on Jaren Jackson. I believe he's the best big man in the draft. I think he's going to be better than DeAndre Ayton. And to be honestly,
Ayton has a lot of baggage that comes with him too.
Right, and DeAndre Ayton, to me, I think he's my 3rd best prospect. Might have him 4th. I'm still debating because I'm going to give you guys a name, and don't be surprised if this kid turns out to be really damn good, like Al Horford type good, and that's Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke. I think he's better than Marvin Bagley. He was overshadowed by Marvin Bagley, and in that system that Coach K plays, it never really allows his players to be themselves in terms of their best potential. And Wendell Carter has a much better feel than Marvin Bagley. He's a better overall player, a much better defender. He also has a 7'4" wingspan. That's what he measured at the combine, which is really impressive. Jaren Jackson at 7'5", Mo Bamba's at 7'10", which is ridiculous. But at the same time, Mo Bamba doesn't have the mobility Wendell Carter and Jaren Jackson has. And in today's NBA, if you watch the Western Conference Finals, you want guys like Looney and Capella who can switch on to a James Harden, a Steph Curry, a Klay Thompson. People associate blocks with being a defensive anchor. That's not the case anymore.
No.
You have to be able to switch on to guards. You have to be able to communicate on defense and be an overall package on defense. It's not about rim protection anymore because teams will bring you out the paint regardless. You have to be able to guard on the perimeter. And I don't see Mo Bamba being that guy. I see, shorter guys, but guys who have lateral quickness like a Jaren Jackson, like a Wendell Carter, who have high basketball IQ and a good feel for the game. I feel like Mo Bamba is forced out there because he's so lanky.
Yeah.
And if you watch him play against Nevada, they exposed him a lot. And they had 6'7" guys go at him. And he's extremely soft like Charmin. And to me, when you're that big, you need to be able to dominate. And I didn't see that. Although I'll say this, he's very intelligent, very well-spoken. And that's going to help him. And if he puts the work in, he has the upside to be really good. If he adds a jump shot, he has the upside. But if I'm a GM, I'm not taking that risk. I'm not going to wait and see if he does turn out to have a jump shot. I want a guy who I know I'm confident in. And the guy that I'm confident in is Luka Doncic. And my second option will be Jaren Jackson.
Most comfortable players. Those are your most comfortable players.
Right.
You're with them taking.
If I'm Vlade, which my job's on the line this year, I need to draft the safest guy.
Yeah.
And to me, the safest guy is Luka, and after that is Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson, to me, honestly has a chance to be the best player in this draft 4 years from now. And if we look back, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy is that good. He has Draymond Green instincts on defense, which is a rare thing to say. As much as I don't like Draymond because of his antics.
You and Charles Barkley.
Yeah, but I love his game.
Yeah.
And he's so damn good. I can't say I never, but he is one of the smartest, if not the smartest player in the NBA for not having that much athleticism. I mean, the guy doesn't jump very high, but he makes up for it. And that's what matters to me. Go ahead.
So,
I think, it's family member.
But as you mentioned, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the draft. As we said, Vlade's cards are always close to him. But we heard the speculation coming into the draft, and this is all speculation till draft night. The Phoenix Suns, I think Ryan McDonough, their GM, kind of took this back now. He said, we'd be open to maybe a trade. Do you think the Suns keep that pick? Or do you think they make some changes? Because that's another franchise who's been in...
The Suns?
The Suns have been in been in trouble basically since they blew it up with Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, Stoudemire, all of them. But do you think the Suns keep this pick?
They have to. And if they don't...
It's Ryan McDonough's job.
Right.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they need to go out and get an all-star player. Maybe like a Cat. Maybe... It's hard, man.
Andrew Wiggins, the name's been out there for trade rumors too.
He's not that good. I think he's super overrated. He's a
those Kansas players, yeah.
You're right, and you don't like Kansas players, but he's a volume shooter who gets 20 points on a low percentage of shots, and that's not winning basketball. He doesn't translate to winning basketball. The reason why they won last year is because Jimmy Butler is that damn good, and when he got hurt, they dropped a lot. They went to the number. Yeah. They were a 3 seed and they went down to an 8 seed. So definitely Jimmy Butler's effectiveness and his impact to that team was massive, and it was invaluable. So I don't like Andrew Wiggins, and I've heard rumors of them connecting him to the Kings because he would be the ideal fit at small forward, which I believe he'd be a lot better than what they have now. But at the same time, do I want to commit? I think he just signed that huge extension of $150+ million. I don't think he's worth that. But at the same time, the Kings are so bad that I wouldn't mind having an upgrade because I'm tired of watching them lose. And he would be an upgrade, make no mistake about it. But my thing is off of a value aspect. I don't believe he's worth the contract, and I don't believe in his volume shooting unless you had another complimentary star. If you make him your number one guy, you're not going to win many games. He needs to be like a number 3 option, the way he was with Minnesota, for him to be successful and for the team to be successful.
Do we see any draft night shockers to you in your mind? I know we still have a couple more shows till draft night, but predictions wise, you could see foreshadowing any teams doing anything.
I would be upset if Phoenix took Luka, which I think is still a possibility.
They have a European head coach now.
The guy who coached Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And a guy who's been on record saying that he's the most talented player he's ever coached. And this guy has coached Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, and all these guys. And for him to say he's the most talented speaks volumes on Luka's work ethic, on Luka's skill set. and his demeanor on the court. So to me, that matters, especially coming from a head coach who has coached so many good basketball players. I know the text line is this cat on the trading block. Nobody's going to trade number 1 pick. Yeah, I don't think they trade number 1. I think because of their owner being an alumni from Arizona and being a booster.
And it's Robert Sarver's, yeah.
Right.
The owner,
he needs to draft DeAndre Ayton because of that town doesn't go to games.
No.
And I have a lot of people that tell me that.
It's sad, which is it used to be one of the best franchises to go watch a player watch on TV and play.
And I think if you draft Ayton, he's a box ticket.
People will show up.
Right.
Yeah.
People will show up.
University of Arizona basketball still carries on.
It's so big. It's much bigger than the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
So I think they draft Ayton, even though
that
they
whole
may want to
situation,
draft Luka, but because he's a white European, they don't have the balls to actually draft him. And I hate to say it like that, but they don't. So that leaves him to the Kings, which I'd be very happy with. And so you draft him at number 2. And then at number 3 is where the draft starts to me, which is Atlanta.
That's a whole different...
I believe they should go Jaren Jackson. But you have the hype with Marvin Bagley. And I don't know what they do. I believe if you believe in John Collins, then you pair him up with Jaren Jackson. If you don't believe in him, then you go on. You get Marvin
in that
Bagley.
Whole coaching situation, the new front office basically with
they just
Budenholzer
hired
out.
He's a
Spurs assistant, I believe, right? Another one.
He was a Sixers assistant.
Sixers assistant, but the former Spurs assistant by Budenholzer, who's now in Milwaukee. Yeah,
right.
But there's that whole thing.
How do you feel about Booz going to Milwaukee? I think it's a great move.
It's a great move.
I love Booz as a coach.
He
was just tired of losing with that team.
I don't know what Jason Kidd does to get fired.
Jason Kidd's actually in Detroit today.
Oh, interviewing
for the Pistons job.
Because I think he has so much potential to be a good coach, but I don't know what.
He's closed-minded.
Yeah, I think it is that too. I just think he likes his way, and he's a point guard, and we all know what Jason Kidd, his thing is. He likes it his way, but Brooklyn didn't work out. Milwaukee didn't work out. The Pistons have to make a great hire. I think there's so much talent on that team. You got Blake. You made that trade, and you're in downtown Detroit now, so you have to figure out what's going on with that organization. I know Stan Van rubbed people the wrong way, but that's just
someone saying Dwayne Casey will get the Pistons job. I don't think he will.
I don't. You know what? I don't think he will. I think that they're going to go with somebody.
Jason Kidd's a much sexier name.
That too, or somebody with pedigree in Detroit.
Right. And
Tayshaun Prince is going to be in the front office, I believe. So Jerry Stackhouse name's been out there as a head coach recently.
Jerry Stackhouse is the guy
who's interviewed with Toronto and interviewed with a couple of clubs.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
They need a box ticket seller.
They need somebody who will bring back the legacy of Detroit basketball.
Right.
And
which I miss.
Me too. I miss the mid 2000s Pistons too with Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups' name's been out there as a head coach before, but he has never been a coach.
Right. It's
so
scary.
It's going to be interesting to see, but I don't think Dwayne Casey goes there. I think Dwayne Casey might take a year off. Might do some TV.
Right.
He has a little personality, I think.
Right.
So and he's good at breaking down games, but I think we see mid changes.
He should though.
Yeah, he should.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
What's Dwayne Casey have to lose to come back and coach right away?
He's gonna get paid all the money from the Raptors. I mean,
and
he's now on food stamps.
Once one coach gets fired this season, hey, Dwayne Casey will get called.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know the rumors.
He can pull a George Karl and just sit, analyze games, and just wait patiently for the right situation.
I know the whole situation with the Lakers, which I'm a Luke Walton kind of fan. I think,
but you never know.
But you never know.
Because they're a team that they want to win now. And if they don't get results right away.
The one move of the coaching situation that shocked me so far is how do you re-sign Doc Rivers to a contract extension if you're Lawrence Franks?
God, if they do
and Jerry West. They already did. He's back.
What?
Yeah, they extended him. So Doc Rivers is going to be back, and I don't know why you give him a contract extension.
God.
But I don't get the situation there. I thought Jerry West would have made the move already.
Oh, my God.
But the Clippers have kind of fallen. So I don't know what the situation is with Portland and Terry Stotts because that's on shaky ground with Neil O'Shea and what's happened.
Right.
With losing the first round Not the first round.
They did.
Yeah, they lost the first round again.
They got swept by the Pelicans.
Yeah, so which a lot of people were shocked because what Damian Lillard did this year.
Do you think they fire O'Shea?
Man, he's such a good GM though. At certain points, to a certain extent.
He did give a bunch of bad contracts.
He did give bad contracts. He did get some bad draft picks.
Grab.
I don't know what the move is, but maybe one more year. And
one more.
It's not Terry Stotts' fault, I don't think.
Do you think they trade CJ McCollum?
Would you, though?
I wouldn't, but at the same time...
Who are you going to trade him for?
You're not flexible enough. Like, that team...
You don't have a big man.
That team needs a big man and a wing, and the only way you can get that is if you trade one of your two guards.
Would you trade CJ McCollum for Cat?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you're Minnesota, would you take that? You're Tom Thibodeau. I know we're speculating here, but
it's hard because how would he fit with
Damian Lillard?
No, how would CJ fit with
Jimmy Butler
and a high volume scorer in Wiggins? I think it's more of a fit issue.
Yeah.
I think if they can get rid of Wiggins, have Jimmy Butler and CJ McCollum, bring in a good big.
Would you trade Wiggins for McCollum? If you're Portland, would you take that?
Hell no.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it.
But if you're Minnesota, you're like,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Like, no question about it. But if you're Minnesota, I mean, if you're Portland.
If you're Minnesota, are you upset what happened last season, how good Ricky Rubio was? I know.
He was really good.
He was really good.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Want to talk smack about him, but I'm like, he led a playoff team.
And what was I saying coming into the season? Quinn Snyder, European coach.
Right. This guy
college coach,
so good.
So he's figured out what to do with Ricky Rubio. No Gordon Hayward, no problem. But Leo, it's almost been an hour so far.
Right, but we're 9 minutes away. Does anybody want to call in? Yeah, I got 9 minutes.
Give us your predictions in the draft, the playoffs, the what's going to happen with the Kings and the draft picks, or any draft picks, or coaching situations, because as we've seen, it's always fluid in the NBA.
Someone said more likely to be traded, McCollum or Beal.
McCollum.
The Wizards have some issues.
They do have issues, and
they need to get some players in there, a big, because the big Polish bulldog is not good enough anymore.
Would Minnesota take Bill for Cat?
Yes. Yes.
Karl Anthony Towns in Washington with John Wall. That'd be nice.
Right.
That's
interesting.
That's a good fit.
Portland and Washington are on the hot bubble.
Yeah, they're kind of like the same similar team right now.
And they have two star backcourts.
Yeah.
And they need to trade them to get a big or a very good wing.
What happens in OKC though too?
I think they trade for Lonzo Ball and they trade Russell Westbrook.
Whew. Would that happen on draft night or after?
Probably after.
Okay. That's a big prediction to throw out there, Leo.
I was semi kidding because if LeBron James or Paul George or DeMarcus, if they sign with the Lakers, I believe Lonzo Ball, because it's the second year, he will improve a lot more and he's going to look a lot better if he has that type of talent. So I don't think they trade him. But if you're Oklahoma and you know Paul George is not coming back, you're going to have a very unhappy Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Why wait for the headache and get draft picks and the young point guard in return? You know what I mean? Like,
I know what
you
mean.
Like reset it.
Yeah.
And
would Billy Donovan be okay with being resetting basically as a coach?
I don't know if he will or not, but I don't think it's up to him. I think it's up to the
ownership. Sam Presti.
It's up to Sam Presti, and it'll be very interesting to see. I don't think that happened, but I've seen that rumor out there.
The two teams I'm interested to see what happens this season is OKC, or this offseason, and Toronto. I think Toronto's the interesting one.
What about the Spurs with Kawhi?
That's another one too. Greg Popovich is a stubborn person, and
if you're the Kings, do you give a number 2 for Kawhi?
Yes.
Even if you know you have no guarantees of
signing him? Man, that's a hard one. That's
like a rental.
Yeah, it is. I can't. Right. But
unless
I don't know what Kawhi wants, and I don't even know if Greg Popovich knows what he wants, because what Pop's going through.
I think Pop would want Luka Doncic. But now the issue is not with him wanting Luka Doncic. The issue is will Kawhi re-sign with the Kings?
If you're the Suns, would you trade the number 1 to the Spurs for Kawhi?
If he again, I think it's the same situation.
Okay.
You can't give up a number 1, number 2 pick for a guy that's a 1-year rental. As good as Kawhi is, which I think he's a top 3 player in the league, you can't put your franchise in that type of a predicament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
Because that's how dudes get fired.
Yeah.
There's no way you do it.
What do you think Kawhi's issue is with the Spurs?
I think it's how organizations treat players. You saw what the Celtics did with Isaiah Thomas. He came back, he risked his hip, and now he's seen the full...
hey, he predicted he'll be on the cover of 2K in 2020.
Which is just crazy, but I'm just saying, he came out, he busted his ass
He did.
for the organization, and they traded him.
He did, yeah.
So he risked his career, and now he's suffering because of that bad decision. He was like, well, I'm loyal to this team, but now players are saying, but are they really loyal to us? No. It's a business. You have to understand that. And Isaiah Thomas made the mistake of coming back way too early. He messed up his hip, and now he's paying the consequences.
Yes.
Now he's a free agent with a bad hip, waiting and hoping for someone to give him a multi-year deal. I don't know if it happens. I think teams will just give him a max 1-year deal, and he's going to have to play like that for the rest of his career. I don't think someone gives him a 4 to 5 year deal. I don't see it, man, because he's too much of a risk. He's I hate to say he's small, but he's prone to injury now. And I can't commit myself to a guy.
What do you think his problem is? He gets traded so much, or gets...
Again, it goes back to his size, his injuries, his liability on defense. Great scorer, can put up 30 a night for you.
You've heard some rumblings, though. Some people said attitude a little bit. Certain
I actually
people
like his attitude because he has that dog in him.
I like it too, but like certain people, it rubs. I don't know if it rubs people.
It rubs people off.
It rubs people. I don't know if it rubbed Cleveland wrong way. Some people in Cleveland wrong.
It did.
Okay.
Especially if you have an alpha dog like LeBron. But with the Lakers, I think it worked out because they have no alpha dogs.
No, they don't.
And they have a bunch of nice kids that are talented, but they need that type of guy. Which the Kings need that type of guy.
I still think Julius Randle is one of the most underrated.
He's so damn good, and I'm hoping that the Kings sign him.
Yeah,
I don't think they will.
He's been spectacular playing for bad teams. But Leo, as we wind down, we were talking about Kawhi Leonard. You said you think he has problems with the front office, right?
Right.
What problems do you think he has with the front office? Because they basically, after Tim Duncan retired, here's the keys to the franchise.
I think it's him not feeling well and their medical staff clearing him so he can play the same exact thing with Isaiah Thomas. Clearing him in time for him to play in the playoffs. And if your body is telling you I'm not ready, then I'm not ready. Don't force it on me. Which is why he got his own doctors, which is why it's such a mess. And it's funny because the Spurs are the golden child of professional sports. Like, they're the franchise everybody wants to be.
Them and the Patriots.
Right. And now you're like, my gosh, will they fix this? Which is why it's shocking.
And then Pop's situation. In the Pop situation with his family, it makes sad. A bad time for the handle what the situation is. And hopefully this offseason that it's Greg Popovich that sits down with him, not R.C. Buford. I think it needs to be Pop, and because Pop is the face of the franchise. Let's be frank about it. He is the coach, but he is the face of the franchise. Yes. Who's the person that's always been there and everybody mentions. Pop. So I think Pop and Kawhi just need to sit down one-on-one and figure out what's going to happen.
And reportedly they're offering the max, which is the right thing to do regardless, because you don't want to lose them for nothing.
No.
It's the same situation with the Kings and DeMarcus that 1 year.
Would you have somebody like Tim Duncan maybe give him a call or no of your Pop?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I think when Kawhi is managed by his uncle.
True, family.
And he wants to be in SoCal or he wants to be in California.
He's from California, Palmdale.
So you're kind of like, well, you have the mindset of we don't owe you nothing, San Antonio. So if you have that type of mindset, it doesn't matter who talks to you. And I think he's made up his mind that he's not going to re-sign with that organization. So if I'm the Spurs, I go out and I get the best deal possible.
So
if that's the Philadelphia,
he wants to be in.
And like if you trade him to Philadelphia for Markelle Fultz and Dario Saric and the number 10 pick, I do it in a heartbeat.
Leo, as we wind down, anything you want to?
Everybody can follow us on all social media platforms at Cowboy_Kingdom, or if you want NBA news at Basketball Zone Official, you guys can follow Dustin at Dustin Breakbill.
Yeah, at the Breakdown on Twitter. Yeah, so hey, it's been fun as always. Again, haven't done this in a while.
I think on next Saturday,
I'm
going to break down my top 25. As of right now, I I can give you guys my list, which is Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson, Aiden, Trae Young, Wendell Carter, Michael Porter, Bridges, Bagley, Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown, Mikal Bridges, Bamba, Zaire Smith, Robert Williams, Keita Bates Diop, which I love from Ohio State. I think he's a sleeper with a 7'3" wingspan. Colin Sexton, Melvin Frazier from Tulane, who I think he has a 40-inch vertical, 7'1" wingspan. He's there. I have a couple of wings that are sleepers. I'll do a video on that. I hope you guys are enjoying all the video breakdowns that I've done this week. And you guys share it with everybody. But other than that, man, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Dustin.
No problem.
And Saturday again, guys, 11 a.m. I love you guys. Thank you for the support. And E-Man wasn't here because he got sick.
Okay, E-Man.
Says, y'all should take your allergy pills. Sponsorship pending. Allegra. I think it's Allegra. Sponsor us right now.
No Ambien for E-Man. As Roseanne happened, that whole situation. But Leo, Cowbell Kingdom 338. As always, it's been fun. Until next Saturday. Right here on Cowbell Kingdom